Chapter 28 Chuck Kinsey. I never thought I'd love the PAG as much as I did, or miss it as much as I was missing it now. Then again, a lot of things were happening that I never thought could happen, like the awesome threesome not being friends anymore. That was so bad that Pavel and I could barely gag down our gummy worms. We were still friends, at least, but that was just a twosome. And not having Cam took the awesomeness out of everything. Even Mrs. Backward could tell that something was wrong. Melancholy, you boys are? Your friend is where? We're kind of fighting, Pavel told her unhappily. Time, give him, she advised us in her backward language that Pavel and Cam understood, but always took me a little longer. Work out, it will. Her brow clouded. Our freeway ramp, not so much. The transportation department? Hemorrhoids, I wish on them. We still saw Cam at school, but he didn't talk to us, and we didn't talk to him. He was keeping his distance, using his secret locker full time because it was on the opposite side of the building from ours. I didn't tell Pavel, but I even went online a few times just to check if Cam was on the gaming network. I never found him, not once. If there was anything weirder than the awesome threesome breaking up, it was Cam not playing video games. Pavel was as sad as I was, but also pretty sore. He deserves it. Where does he get off accusing me of messing with the web page? Speaking of the web page, it was back up again. At least sometimes it was. 1 minute it would be there, like before, filled with angry words and challenges like Pagers fight back and Dr. Lapierre unfair and Axe fuzzy, not the good guys. But just a few minutes later, it was gone again. I couldn't figure out what was going on. It's no big mystery, Pavel told me. Some pagers hacked into the site and putting the page back up, and the school keeps taking it down. I looked deep into his face. But are you the pager who's hacking in? He glared at me. Don't you start. It wasn't me before, and it isn't me now. I must have seemed disappointed. The truth was, I liked what it said on the web page. I was ready to fight for the PAG, but because the page would only be there for a few minutes, there was never time to put in any information. Nothing about where to go, or what to do, or who to talk to. Every morning while I ate breakfast, I'd check it on my iPad, hoping against hope for word that the PAG might be getting back together again. And then, one day, there it was. It's time to make a stand. Big meeting, 3:15 today. But where? I almost shouted into my cornflakes. Desperately, I tried scrolling down for more details. That was when the page tried to refresh itself, flickered once, and disappeared. I called Pavel. I saw it too, he confirmed. We'll just have to ask around when we get to school. Somebody must know what's going on. He was half right. At school, everyone was buzzing about the latest post. I guess we weren't the only ex-pagers following the on-again, off-again page. The problem was that nobody knew where this big meeting was going to be held. Well, that makes sense, Pavel reasoned. The school is monitoring this. If they give the location, the first guy to show up will be Dr. Lapierre. It didn't make me feel any better. Yeah, but it's not going to be much of a meeting if nobody knows where to go. Rumors started flying. It would be the gym where all our meetings took place, the guidance department since Mr. Fanshawe was our faculty advisor, the hallway outside Dr. Lapierre's office, just to show him who was boss, the football stadium, close to school, but away from the teachers' prying eyes. Some kids even thought the boxer home would be the spot. Only Pavel and I knew how wrong that was. Nobody cared less about the PAG than Cam himself. I'll bet our school shattered the world record for cell phone write-ups that day. Everyone was on the school site hoping for more information from the phantom PAG page. You could hear the "ah" from every hall in the school when it suddenly reappeared just a few seconds after the 3 o'clock bell. I stared at my phone's small screen. Meeting place? Where it all began. A buzz of confusion rose. Where it all began? What was that supposed to mean? I've got it, crowed String's voice in sudden triumph. This must mean the playing field at the elementary school where the String scored his first touchdown. There was a general sigh of letdown. I liked String, but his suggestion made about as much sense as everything else he said. The PAG started in Cam's basement, I mused to Pavel. Or maybe at your house, where you set up the web page. He shook his head. The only people who know about that are us and Cam. And there's no way he has anything to do with this. I thought of the music room where the PAG first met, but we'd never fit in there now. No, where it all began can only mean where we did our first good deed, the Senior Citizens Garden Project. We told as many pagers as we could, hoping that they would spread the word from there. But obviously, we weren't the only ones who remembered that great day when the PAG changed from a club on paper to a real force for good in Sycamore. As we made our way across town towards 7th Street, there were already a lot of kids ahead of us. The trickle turned into a stream, and pretty soon the sidewalk was so jammed that a lot of walkers spilled over into the road, slowing traffic. The closer we got, the greater the excitement level, the louder the chatter. I was feeling it as much as anyone. The fact that the PAG was coming back to life awakened something in me too. Not that we weren't still shut down officially, but there was something more to us, something Dr. Lapierre couldn't touch, and neither could the friends of Fuzzy. Who do you think is doing this? I asked Pavel. It can't be Mr. Fanshawe. He could get fired. Pavel shrugged. We'll know soon enough. We crossed the street and entered the garden. It wasn't the whole PAG, but there had to be at least 200 of us there, clustered around about 10 kids at the center of the now frost-covered garden. I saw Xavier first. He was hard to miss. There were school co-presidents Jordan and Kelly, along with Felicia, the campaign manager, even though there was no campaign anymore. And was that Daphne? I sure hope they brought a megaphone, Pavel commented. Listen to this crowd. We're not going to hear a word. That turned out to be one of the rare times the great Pavel was wrong about something. As soon as Xavier held up his hands for order, all those pagers got real silent real fast. Then he squatted down, and for a minute I thought we'd come all this way to watch a former juvenile delinquent do knee bends. But no, he was hunkering down to boost somebody up onto his shoulders. That's Cam, Pavel blurted. When everybody recognized the PAG's founder, the Senior Citizens Garden Project went berserk for 5 full minutes. As soon as things quieted down again, Cam began to talk. We helped a lot of people. He didn't even raise his voice, but we hung on his every word. Now we have a chance to help ourselves. We have a chance to help the whole town. Pavel and I exchanged an astonished look. No one hated public speaking more than Cam. He was always telling us that it didn't fit into his lifestyle. What was going on here? On Saturday morning, Cam went on, the Division of Highways is going to knock down our exit ramp, and everybody thinks there's nothing we can do about it. But what the PAG taught us is there's never nothing we can do. If we could get hundreds of people to pick up garbage, we can get hundreds of people to stand on our ramp and block the demolition crew. I turned to Pavel. That can't work, can it? He seemed stunned. It's so obvious, I can't believe nobody thought of it before. Yeah, but people aren't stronger than bulldozers. In a way they are, he countered. A highway crew's not allowed to plow over human beings. If we pack that ramp and refuse to move, there's nothing they can do. I was blown away. My parents, their friends, Mrs. Backward, the city councilor, the mayor, every adult in town was mourning over the loss of this freeway ramp, and the only person to come up with a plan was an 8th grader, and not just any 8th grader, Cam Boxer, the world's greatest natural slacker. Maybe this school shut us down, Cam concluded, but that doesn't mean we can't be the positive action group in our spare time. I think we've got one more good deed in us, and this one's the most important of all." There was a low, thoughtful murmur as the audience chewed over Cam's words, and when it began to sink in that this was something that could work, the hum swelled to a roar. We could do this. If we got a big enough turnout, we could stop those bulldozers. And for the PAG, bringing together hundreds of volunteers was something that used to happen 2 or 3 times a week. The crowd rushed toward Cam, and Pavel and I rushed with them. The PAG president teetered atop Xavier's strong shoulders, reaching down to slap high fives. Pavel was pink with exhilaration. Cam was awesome, and not a word about aliens or his clan or rule the world. I nodded happily. Let's go congratulate him. That was easier said than done. Everybody wanted a piece of Cam right then. He was the man of the hour, the star of the moment. We shoved our way forward until we were as close as we could get in the mob. "Hey, Cam," I called, waving. "Over here," Pavel added. The PAG president's eyes panned the crowd, passing right over us.